Welcome to Saving Face, the podcast, episode 4, or episode 3, part 2, depending on who you ask. I'm your host, Rosie Burnham, and we are here today to talk some more with Dennis. So last week we started a really fun conversation with Dennis, who's been here in Taiwan for a while, and he's a big hit, as I knew he would be. So our conversation was really good, and it was also very long, so I decided to split it into 2 parts. So this week we have part 2 of my conversation with Dennis. So we'll be starting right where we left off last week, which is after he's talking about going back home to Canada, and he gave us some really good insights into what that was like for him the first couple times and how that's changed after he's been away for so long. And now we're going to hear him talk about his experiences living abroad in other places, and specifically the Middle East, and how he feels about that. So we have a lot of fun talking, and it was really great to have Dennis on for 2 episodes. I hope to have him back, and if anybody else is either an expat or thinking about becoming an expat or a foreigner living abroad, and you want to be a guest on the show, please do reach out to me. I am on Instagram at SavingFaceThePodcast, or you can send me an email at savingfacethepodcast@gmail.com. If you have been listening and you like the show, or you're having some fun, or even if you don't like it, it would really help if you would leave me a review, rate, give me your honest opinion. If you hate it, I don't understand, but it's fine, I guess. And if you love it, let us know, because that really helps kind of get the word out, and helps just kind of spread it around so that other people can start to listen too, and not just people that I'm sending it out to, because I don't know that many people. We talked about that last week too, how I don't have that many friends, so I could really use your help. Other than that, if you have ideas for what you want us to talk about on the podcast, whether it's like things you're wondering about living abroad, or just like funny stories if you know me, or if you know any of our guests and you can think of something that would be fun to talk about on the show, please let me know in one of those places too, and I'll try to get it on there. So I think that's all for me. So I will hand it over to myself of the past and Dennis again. Enjoy. So leaving and coming back, you went home once. You went home to Canada once, and then another time you moved to Bahrain, right?
Right, yeah. So I went home to get my teacher's degree, and I tried to get a job back here at an international school, but nobody wanted to hire me yet. So I thought, well, I have to get some experience. So I went to a job fair and talked to a few schools, and mostly the Middle East was interested in me. And of the people that wanted me, Bahrain seemed like the best choice. And plus, I had a friend, Chris Kirkpatrick, who I lived with at Golden Beach here in Tainan, who lived in Saudi Arabia, which is right next to Bahrain. And that kind of factored into it. I was like, at least I'll have a friend nearby, right? And he was like one of my best friends, still is one of my best friends. And so I was like, fuck it, I'll just take that job. I'll just go there. And I had to tell my wife that I was going to be, in the Middle East for 2 years. Well, girlfriend at the time, right? But I think she was also abroad. She was in Singapore, so it wasn't a big deal. We were both, but I mean, it was a lot of like Skype calls and like this kind of thing. And so I went to the Middle East, and not impressed, to tell you the truth. Not impressed.
Not your cup of tea?
Not my thing. I didn't like the locals there. I didn't like the foreigners there. The first year, I basically had no friends except for a couple of people that I worked with. So I just sat in my apartment. It was a nice apartment. They gave us a nice apartment. There was a gym right there. There was a pool right there. So I didn't really need to make friends. But then it got a little bit old. And then I met this guy, Ahmed. And I fucking swear to God, if Ahmed ever listens to this, I love you, Ahmed. I miss you so much. He disappeared. So Ahmed is a gay man. And he lives in a Middle Eastern fucking country, and he's gay. And there's a community of gay people, and I was shocked to learn this, like absolutely shocked. So I started hanging out with these guys because they party, they're fun, and they're brave.
Yeah.
They're super brave. Like, these guys are courageous, man. Yeah. So I was always hanging out with them, and Ahmed particularly, and it didn't hurt that he was like filthy rich, bring me to like really cool places and like buying everything all the time. And yeah, it was pretty cool. I remember I left one summer and I gave him my keys. I was like, just take the apartment, man. If you want to bring a boy over there, like just bring it over. I just gave him my apartment. And I remember I came back and I was like, Ahmed, I was expecting at least like a live tiger in my apartment or something. He's like, and you know what he said to me?
What?
He's like, I probably, if I had known that, I probably could. I mean, you know how much a live tiger would be? He's like, I probably get that done. He's like,
I can make it happen
yeah,
for you.
He's like, oh, fuck you, Ahmed. You couldn't have done that.
He could have done it. I
He
believe in him.
he probably thinks he could have, but I don't think he could. I mean,
believe in him.
maybe.
I believe he could have done it.
What's that movie where they
The
become
Hangover.
Hangover? The Hangover. That's where I got the idea from. I was like, Ahmed, where's my live tiger?
Wow, what a movie. So Ahmed was the shining beacon of hope.
Ahmed, I remember meeting him. They have like brunches. They're like basically they're feasts. It's a display of gluttony is what it is. So there's these massive feasts. You pay like $60, all you can eat, all you can drink, and I'm talking like there's just so much food waste. It's amazing. So, but it's really fun. So you go there and you eat and then you just get fucking hammered and you get like I think 5 or 6 hours of this. And Ahmed was at one of these brunches. He was a friend of a friend, and I was like, wow, your skin is amazing. I just remember, speaking of masks and all this, right? I was like, you have the most amazing skin. He's like, you know what he said to me?
What?
I always say that. You know what he said to me? He said, I'm never going to get old. That's what he said. Never.
Never.
I'm like, are you sure? I ended up making out with him that night for a little while. He had like beautiful teeth, and I was like,
And beautiful skin?
Beautiful skin,
Wow.
beautiful teeth.
Look
He was
at
balding though, but it
Mm.
didn't seem to
Can't
bother him
have it
because he was
all.
so handsome.
Yeah.
He was really handsome. And I made out with him, and I actually made the mistake of making a video of me making out with him and sending it to my girlfriend.
Dennis!
Well, I thought she'd think it was funny.
Did she not think it was
No, she was like, do not ever send me that shit. And don't make out with boys.
Oh, well,
That's
now
really
you
funny.
know.
Yeah, now I know. We continued
lesson
making
learned.
out, but no more videos.
No more videos.
Yeah.
Draw the line somewhere.
No sex. We never had sex.
You had a
I'm
girlfriend.
not gay. I just like making out with boys.
Right.
That's all.
So do I.
Mhm.
Wow. So how about so when you decided to move back to Taiwan, was it different when you moved back the next time after living in Bahrain?
Wait,
it like-
I'm not finished bashing
Oh, you're
the
not.
Middle
Okay,
East.
sorry.
So I want to bash the Middle East a little more.
All right.
Fuck the Middle East. Like, seriously. These people are amazing. And I'm talking about students. Wow. Assholes. They actually think that you're like one of their servants as a teacher. Like, they fucking think that they can just say whatever they want, do whatever they want. And I had it, I'm a man, so I had it a little better than some of the girls
Sorry, I'm
that
gonna
were
turn the
teaching
AC off.
there. No problem here.
I think maybe it's loud. Sorry, go ahead.
Some of the women, I mean, oh my god, like they don't respect women teachers. So I would have to go into like girls' classes sometimes and like calm kids down. They were just out of fucking control. And like even in my class, kids were just saying they would just shout out whatever they wanted.
So what were the demographics like for your school?
You mean
Were they rich kids?
very rich kids? I'm sure that every one of those kids had more money in their bank account than I did. And I'm not talking about the parents. I'm talking about the kids.
The kids themselves.
Yeah, 5th graders. Yeah.
So do you think, did you know anyone who taught in a different demographic? Do you think that was just like a kind of a byproduct of them being spoiled rich kids? Or do you think it was more of a cultural thing? Or do you think...
I really do think it's a cultural thing and also the rich kid thing. Like, I mean, most of the kids, their parents don't spend any time with them.
Mm-hmm.
So they have like maids, drivers, like those are the people that really bring up the kids that actually raise these kids. And I saw kids like I saw a kid kick his driver one time. And I walked over there and I was like, "Do you know what it feels like to be kicked?" He's like, "What?"
Did you kick him?
No, I didn't kick him. I didn't want to get fired, but I wanted to kick him. I really did want to kick him. I remember a couple of times like I was you're in the Middle East, so you got to really check yourself sometimes, but I remember I was teaching science. And I was like, do you guys know, I was really excited about teaching wind, how wind happens. Because it's really interesting. And I didn't really even learn about it until, like, I was an adult. And I really wanted to teach wind. And I was like, do you guys know where wind comes from? And this kid just goes, Allah makes wind. And I'm like, no, he doesn't. And if you write that on your test, you're going to see a big red X. And then I had a parent meeting after that.
I bet you did.
And, you know, like, you have to really be careful, but I'm a pretty hardcore atheist. It's really hard. And you know what? Even to get my teaching certificate, or not teaching, it was like a work permit in the country. I had to write down what religion I was.
Really?
Yeah.
Did
I
you
wrote
lie?
agnostic, but I'm atheist. but I was like,
Do you
why
think if you had written atheist, they wouldn't let you in?
I should have written that I'm a hardcore Jewish man. I don't know. Well, because I was already hired, but they
Yeah.
really wanted to know. Like it was a question,
Weird.
right? Yeah, it's pretty weird.
Man.
Okay, I'm done. Well, no, I'm not done. I'm not done.
You still have more shit to say?
Yeah, more shit to say. People treat. There's a lot of like everyone's got servants there, right? There's Filipinos there, Indians, Thai people, and everyone treats them like shit. They're just treated like shit. It's bad. Like sometimes they'll take like the foreigner's passport, and like you're basically trapped there. You can't go back
Jesus.
home. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Who's taking it? The employers?
The employer. Yeah, the employer will take your like if you're let's say and there's a lot of like sexual abuse and shit like that there. Let's say you're like a really pretty Thai girl that goes to like become like a babysitter or whatever. And you make, I mean, you're still making 3 times more money than you will at home.
Mm-hmm.
So you go and take the risk, right? But you get there and all of a sudden your passport's under confiscation and you're being raped by the person who runs the household. And so it's a pretty scary I mean, for me, it's fine, right? I mean, but for a lot of people who go there, it's a pretty nasty place. And I didn't like the way people talked to me. I didn't like the way people treated other people, and even treated me. I mean, it was just a fucking. I really despise some middle. But I met some good people. I mean, I did, but very few.
But your experience there was overall not one you would want to repeat.
I gutted it out for 2 years, but I don't think I'd move back there unless they offered me a lot of money, like retirement money. Yeah.
That was like the one when I was at the job fair to get this job or whatever other first international teaching job. I promised my parents I wouldn't apply anywhere in the Middle East, so that was the one place I wasn't gonna do it.
No, that's a terrible place to be for you, I think.
Yeah,
I really do.
Yeah, one of the reasons Taiwan was at the top of my list was because I am bisexual, and there's so many places that you wouldn't think that are dangerous for people to even be like open about that.
Yeah.
So that was something I had to consider too. But yeah, my parents are like, don't go to the Middle East just because it's
Didn't Taiwan have like the first or the only gay pride parade this year?
This year, yeah, they and I missed it in June because usually most of the world has Pride in June,
right.
Around the time of the Stonewall riots in the U.S. But for some reason, and people always give me different answers, so I'm not entirely sure why, but in Taiwan, usually their big Pride Parade is in October, like at the last weekend of October. So it's usually the same weekend that everyone celebrates Halloween.
Okay.
So there's lots of costumes, and it's really fun.
Nice,
Yeah, it's like a big parade.
I can see that. That's a good fusion, right? Halloween and Pride.
It's
nice.
fun. So I'm going this year if you want to go. But I guess they had one. I didn't know about it until it was too late, but they had one in June this year when the rest of the world usually does. That was like Pride for the whole world.
Wow.
Because the rest of the world was on lockdown and they couldn't have their big Pride celebrations.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think that's really beautiful. And going back to October is my birthday. If it's somewhere near my birthday weekend, we could go to Taipei, right?
Yeah.
We go to Pride and just make like a super crazy weekend of it.
Yes.
And get some crazy costumes and just go all out.
Listen, the headband is yours.
Really? Okay,
Yes.
good.
Yes, let's do it.
Let's go all out.
I've done it both because I've only been here 2 years. So both Octobers, I've been up to Taipei and did the Pride Parade. And the first year, I didn't really have any friends yet because I'd only been here a couple months. And I knew a couple people, but they had all had Halloween plans or like just didn't want to make the trek up to Taipei. So I went by myself the first year. And I was like a little nervous about it at first because I hadn't really spent a lot of time in Taipei. It's the big city. And I was like, I had never been to a Pride Parade on my own either. Like I've gone with friends back home and stuff. But it was the most magical experience. It was like, because Pride back home, at least the ones I've been to in Denver, it's kind of like a big party and everyone's like hanging out. But it's not, I haven't really been to one that's really a parade or like a march. It's more just like a bunch of merch booths set up and like people selling things, a bunch of people drinking and on drugs and whatever, and just more like a festival than anything, a big party,
right, yeah.
which is fun in
Yeah,
itself. But this was a whole other thing because it was like everyone was marching through the streets. So there was like a parade route and it was hundreds of thousands of people. And people from all over Asia will come to the parade in Taipei because there's all these Asian countries that don't celebrate Pride or don't have a parade. And so all these people come internationally And
That's
it's
cool.
it's cool. And
Did
so
you
it was
meet a
like,
lot of people from like Thailand?
yeah,
Or
yeah. I mean,
Philippines?
from all over.
Ladyboys.
Yes,
Nice.
everyone, every
I want
faction
to go
of
on the
human
record to
being.
say I love ladyboys. I love
We
ladyboys.
know, Dennis.
Yes.
But it was amazing. And there's this one old guy who's like a local celebrity who's been going to it since they started it, and he was like, hanging out the window waving his flag. There was like, I had this one moment where I was like, that was I think the first day that I really felt 100% like I made the right decision moving to Taiwan.
Cool.
Because it was like the brunt of the culture shock was over, and I was doing this cool thing by myself, and I was surrounded by all these loving people, and I was looking up, and there was this one moment when I thought that. I looked up, and it was like we were passing through this big, like, tall apartment building, and these like young parents had their little baby on the balcony, and the baby was waving a pride flag, and like everybody all around me, it was like hundreds of people saw the baby at the same time, and they're all waving, and the baby's waving back, and everyone's like cheering and laughing with the baby that's like 10 stories
I don't even
up.
know what to say. That's
It was
just
amazing.
Yeah, that is really cool.
It was so good, and I was like, man, first of all, how many places in Asia are you going to see that? Probably only Taiwan.
I can see that
Taiwan.
baby right now.
Like, yeah,
I
oh
think
my
I can
god.
see it, yeah.
It was so good, and like, and all day was like that, and it's hot because it's Taiwan, so you'd make a little pit stop at 7-Eleven, and it's just full of people in rainbow gear buying each other beers and
Right.
waters, and like, it was just, that was like, it was really a celebration.
Right.
And that was the same year that later that year they passed the legislation
That was
legalizing
before,
gay marriage.
that was before that?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, it was like a few months before.
Cool. I would love to go to Gay Pride in Taipei. I think it would be amazing.
You want to go with me this year?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's do
we're
it.
making the plan.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty well on time.
How are we? How much time?
I can't really see from
How much
there.
time have we spent?
We've spent 22 minutes on this part.
For me, time is like beers. I mean,
how many beers are you
A beer and a half.
Would you like another?
No. Yeah. I hate saying no to beer.
You decide, because we were planning to talk about, because we talked about what it was like to like come here and move and come back and stuff, and another thing we had mentioned before that we wanted to talk about was like seeing other people leave and come back. So if you want, we can talk about that, or we can just.
No, I would like to talk about that. And the first names that pop into my head are Lauren and Chris.
Yeah.
And that was a really tough one watching them leave, because like I felt like we were really starting to connect, and just working with Lauren was amazing. And I know she's been on this podcast, and it's an honor
First
to follow Lauren and Janae as well. And yeah, and Chris, I mean, I've known Chris from jiu-jitsu, and it's really cool. We've gone hiking and diving and done a lot of shit together, and I'm going to miss those guys. And well, they're going to experience the same thing, and I hope they have a better experience than I did in the Middle East.
Well, they're going to the UAE, so maybe it's different there.
It could be very different. You're right. Same region, different life, maybe.
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah. So do you feel like, because I had never, it never even occurred to me when I was, because I knew for a while that I wanted to move abroad and do the traveling thing and live in different countries, but it never occurred to me until after I had moved here that like that life, you kind of bring with it having to say goodbye all the time, because all the friends that you make are like, well, either you're leaving and going somewhere else, or the friends that you make in the community are moving on and moving to different places, because that's just in our nature. So like that was a big shock to me. And Lauren and Chris are and Meredith too. Those three are like, they were my first friends here, and they're the first ones that I've really been close to that have left, and they just left recently. So I'm like, I feel like I haven't processed it yet fully.
Right. But
you have been here for so long, and you've been traveling for so long, that I'm sure you've dealt with that a lot.
A lot of good people have left, but a lot of people remain as well. So, but no, it gets easier. It does. Like the first couple times, like, what? You're leaving? Holy shit, man! What? No, no. We're gonna live here together forever. What do you mean you're leaving? No, you're not leaving.
But we're best friends.
Yeah, we're friends, right? And but it does get easier. But sometimes there's a big one. There's a big one that leaves, and you're like, hell. Yeah, Meredith. We're gonna miss Meredith. She was a lot of fun as well. But I think she really wanted to leave, so that makes it easier for me, because I know that she's happier. Yeah, I know that. So that was a little bit easier. But yeah, you certainly miss people. And I mean, just it happens back home as well. Like people move to different cities, right?
Yeah.
It's never easy to say goodbye, but you do your best. And like Chris and Lauren, I'm gonna come see you in the Middle East. I'm definitely if COVID, if I can get COVID in my pocket and put that baby to bed, then
Is that your responsibility now, Dennis? Are you gonna
yeah,
take care of that for us?
I'm gonna everyone put on a fucking mask because I want to go see Chris and Lauren.
Preach.
Yeah,
Really.
preach.
Truly. Man, yeah, I don't know how I'm gonna process it, because I feel like, yeah, I dealt with like people going to different states for college and like
Well,
people
right
leaving and
now, two of your
but-
best friends have just left.
Yeah, I feel like I haven't let myself process it yet. I don't know. Maybe I'm suppressing it.
Yeah, maybe
Maybe
that's
it'll
why
help
I'm
you.
here. You're like,
Yeah,
shit, I
maybe
don't
I'm
have
like,
any friends.
I
Let's call Dennis.
I'm gonna start a podcast that makes it look like I have lots of friends because my only 2 friends already left.
Nice.
You've just
That must be hard,
unmasked.
though.
Get it unmasked. You unmasked
You've
my whole
unmasked.
facade.
I have, yes. I have exposed you to the world.
No.
And now you
so
can
if
freely
anyone
admit
else,
that you miss everyone.
So if anyone else wants to be my friend, I'm really desperate.
Yeah, she is. I mean, I'm
I
here.
really am. No,
Come on.
yeah. Dennis, you're gonna have to be a guest on this like 5 more times. So we'll see how your skin feels after this. If you feel refreshed, you might get
Feels amazing,
might
actually.
be your new thing.
I can feel that it's dry.
It's tightened. Yeah.
Is it taking moisture out of my skin? It must be, right?
Probably like some oils or something. Listen, I don't know anything about these.
Oh, right.
I'm not an expert. I'm not. It's just
You
fun.
just put stuff on
It's
your
just-
face and be like, yeah, this
Well, if they sell
probably
it,
works.
if they sell it at the skincare store, then it probably has to pass some tests.
Exactly.
Right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Trust. Just trust.
Oh yeah. And these ones, I'm pretty sure I got these ones in South Korea, which is like known for its quality skincare. But I also got the Shrek face masks from Korea, so.
So you have a collection of face masks from certain.
Well, because I had
a lot
the
of-
idea for this podcast like a year ago, and so I started collecting them.
Really,
But,
this is a year in the making.
yeah, but I
Wow.
had this is why unemployment is so good for me, because I can actually start doing all the projects that I said I was going to do instead of working full time.
Huh.
I don't know how long I'm going to last, like money wise, but
So at what point does this start making money?
oh, it doesn't.
No, like if you get Joe
No.
Rogan on here, like if you get. Like,
Joe
you know,
Rogan.
I mean, like if you get like let's say you get
Well-
1,000, like 100,000 listeners.
Yeah, well, okay, so I could get.
Do they pay you?
I could get sponsors, so like I could plug an ad in here.
Ooh, I want to do an ad. I want to do an
You're
ad.
gonna pay me?
No, I just want to do an ad.
Oh, well, we don't have a sponsor yet.
Right. Okay, so I'll just pick one, like underwear. MeUndies, No, it's like that's a Bill Burr one. MeUndies. Bill Burr is one of the funniest
This
podcasts
is an
I've
ad for
ever
Bill Burr.
listened to. Oh my god, he's the only dude that has no guests. It's just him ranting,
I couldn't do
and
that. I can barely do this.
he just rants and rants and rants, and like even when he does the fucking advertising, is hilarious. He's like, "Oh yeah, if you don't like the mattress, and within 3 weeks we'll come and pick it up." He's like, "Gross."
Wow. I don't think I could do.
Listen to Bill Burr's podcast.
I would have
So
to
funny.
have my person with me doing the ad. I couldn't do it by myself.
Yeah, he
It's
does it
too
on his own.
much.
Sometimes his wife like comes in and he starts talking to her, but
Okay, that's fine. I don't have a
Bill Burr.
wife to help.
you don't have one, eh?
I don't have one.
No, but you got a Guatemalan
I know.
beauty.
I do. He's handsome, isn't he?
Mm-hmm.
He's gonna be on this podcast eventually. I'm gonna make him be the guest when there's a week when nobody else will do it.
Oscar, handsome.
Super handsome.
Yeah.
Super handsome.
Yeah.
All right. Well, with that, let's go wash this off our face.
Cool.
And then we'll come back, have a few parting words of wisdom.
Yeah.
And we'll say goodbye. So, we are back. How does your face feel, Dennis?
Amazing. I
You
feel
look
like I'm
incredible.
13.
How? In what way?
My face. It's got
Your
that
face.
13-year-old feeling.
Like softer?
I don't know. I'm not really good at explaining why.
Okay.
Don't
Hang
ask
on,
me
I just
why.
realized that my AC and my fan is still on again. Keep going.
Is it softer? I don't know.
Well, I just want to know what your 13-year-old face feels like.
Yeah, I guess it's just nice. I don't know. Feels good. Feels good to have that shit off my face.
So, will you do more face masks in the future?
Only on podcasts.
Only on podcasts.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you're gonna have to be a guest more often then, because.
Well, hopefully I'll have you back, and I got a lot more stories to tell. Oh, I have a story.
Okay.
It just popped in my
All
head.
right.
I got pissed on by a lion. Yeah. So I was at my buddy Neil's house, And I know this is supposed to be a farewell, but you got to tell the story. So at my buddy
You
Neil's
can't leave
house,
us at that.
and we did a wake and bake, and we hit the bong pretty fucking hard. And we were walking back to, it was a small town, we're walking back, but there's a game farm there. Like, it's just a glorified zoo. But there's 2 lions in a cage. And we're walking back, and we're like, what the fuck? Holy shit. So we're like, we gotta go check out these lions, right? And I walked up to the cage, and I remember somebody saying, I think it was whoever was in charge, was like, I wouldn't go that close if I were you. And this lion, like, turned ass and fucking lifted its tail and hit me with a fucking projectile of urine. It was fucking awesome. Right in the chest. Right in the chest.
What?
Like, it was so hard that I took a step back. And I'm pretty sure some of it splashed into my face.
Wow.
And I remember taking my shirt off and just slamming it on the fucking road. I was like, what the fuck, man? I mean, did Elvis have to go through this? I don't know why I brought Elvis into it, but I was like, did Elvis ever get pissed? I was just worried about Elvis for some reason. So that was pretty amazing.
Like, if I had to deal with this, Elvis better have fucking had to deal with
Yeah,
it.
just me and Elvis. I mean, who else has been pissed on by a lion?
I don't know
Son of a
anyone else who's been
bitch.
pissed on by
That
a
was
lion.
hilarious. And of course,
So, was he like marking his territory, or was he threatening you, or both, or what?
I don't know. I guess he didn't like me coming up to his cage. But yeah, I was warned, and I was like, it's no problem. So I just fucking,
Did not heed the
don't
warning.
worry. And fuck, did he piss on me?
He sure did. It sounds like he didn't piss on you. He pissed at you.
Yeah, he did. He
He
turned
pissed
ass.
to you.
He just turned ass, and it was like, you know, like that hose you have outside on the balcony
I
there?
do
It'd be
know the
like that,
hose.
but urine. Lion
Like
urine.
when I turn it to the part that says jet.
Right. Jet. Yeah, that was a jet. That was a jet stream of lion urine right there. So I had to throw that in there. Like, that was
Wow.
a pretty fun story, right?
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Where was this? I forget. Did
That was
you
in
tell me?
Grunthal, Manitoba, a little tiny town that I used to live in.
Wow.
Yeah.
I was imagining this like another worldly adventure. Not that
No, this is
Manitoba's not
tiny.
worldly, but
No, it isn't. But I mean, like, yeah, it was this tiny little town. That's why it was so amazing to see it there. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I always walk from Neil's house. I always smoke bong from Neil's house, walk to my house. It's like a 3-minute walk. And all of a sudden there's a lion in a cage. Like, jeez.
pissing at you.
Fuck.
Damn.
It's amazing.
Wow.
I'm glad that happened.
I'm glad that happened. Well, Dennis, with that, I was going to
Yeah.
ask you for parting wisdom.
Mm.
I don't know if you can top that. I don't know
Mm.
what wisdom can be gleaned from that story, but
What kind of wisdom? Like,
I don't know. Like, I mean, I imagine that at some point people will be listening to this podcast, and I imagine also that those will be the people that are interested in moving abroad or moving to Taiwan or Asia
okay.
or traveling.
Yeah,
in general.
don't ever come to Taiwan. Don't. Well, you can come to Taiwan, but just stay in Taipei. Like, don't come down to
Don't
Tainan.
ruin it.
Unless your name is Wes Runke, Rob McMillan, Eric Gustafson, or Robin Lundblad. If you look at your fucking passport and you don't have any of those names, then just go to Taipei or go to China.
So-
China, they'll pay you way more.
Dennis, are those your friends, or are you just inventing those names?
Those are my very good friends,
Okay.
and those are the not only good friends, but those are the people I would love to see come fucking live here.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I thought we talked earlier about how you like creating characters, so I wondered if maybe that was what you were doing.
No, it
there.
wasn't. No, those are real people,
Those are real people.
Yeah, those are real
Oh,
people.
wow. All right. Well, I hope they come to Thailand.
and they're going to become listeners on this podcast now. You see
Yeah,
how I'm
you
doing
better.
this? You see how I'm getting
You're just,
listeners?
yeah, you're just peppering in. You're just name dropping people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any
thank
people
you.
you'd like to come here?
I mean, yeah, like all of them, but I don't know how much they would like it.
Mm.
You know, so I feel like it would be selfish.
It's definitely it's not for everyone, especially.
not.
And I want to ask you a question. Do we have time for this?
Listen, I run the show here, and
Right.
there are no rules.
You're the fucking boss.
Yeah.
You're the boss. All right.
We do
okay.
not answer to anyone.
So-
we can keep going.
How, this is a big question, and this could be a whole podcast probably. How is it as a white foreign woman, and not necessarily white, but like as a Western foreign woman,
Mhm.
to come here and just like as far as dating, as far as I'm sure Lauren probably covered a bit of this,
Mhm.
but dating, fucking, just I don't know, looking around. I mean, I know that Taiwanese women are interested in foreign men, but foreign women are not really interested in Taiwanese men per se. I mean, not always.
Yeah,
I mean, there are some.
As a general rule, I think that's kind of the situation.
Right, and that's very general. That's very general. I have friends that Western women marrying Taiwanese men and hooking up with Taiwanese men. I mean, it happens, but not even close to as frequently as the other way around. Right. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Definitely listen to Lauren's episode because she did a lot of dating before she met Chris.
Right.
When she first moved to Taiwan, and she has a lot of good stories about her experiences with that. And I'm pretty sure we touched on that with Janae too. I have to confess, I don't listen to these before I post them because I don't like hearing the sound of my own voice. So I just like put the music in and then send it off into the world and hope for the best. So I don't remember if Janae and I talked about this while we were recording or just while we were hanging out beforehand. But I know she's had similar experiences to Lauren too. And like just, with all my foreign women friends, we've talked about like just like your body image it's an issue here because like back home I'm a solid medium, and here I have to shop at the plus size stores.
You're a plus size here?
Yeah.
Oh man.
Because and then none of the men are interested in you. I got lucky and I found Oscar, right? But that was just
and for the viewers, Oscar is from Guatemala.
We already said this.
Did we? Okay, but my question was more like pointed at you. How did you feel when you came here? And you're like
fat. I felt fat.
Not even that. Like about men.
I mean, it's nice to not get catcalled so much because it's not as much part of the culture. It has happened a few times.
Catcalling in Colorado?
I mean, just in the States in general.
Colorado catcall.
I went to college in Denver, and it's not a big city, but it's a city. It counts as a city, and so I lived in a high-rise downtown, and I worked downtown, and my campus was downtown, so I spent a lot of time downtown, and there's just, creepy men around, because that's what cities are like, and...
Pretty sweet. You kind of want to go there.
Dennis, you might fit right in.
Right in. Denver. Denver Dennis.
You might. Denver Dennis.
Mm.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, I enjoyed living there, but it does get on your nerves. There was one time, you're going to like this story. There was one time, we were talking earlier about The Book Thief.
Right.
Remember, before we started recording? Because we love that book, and it's a great book.
Yeah.
So, I read
narrated
that book.
By Death.
Narrated by Death himself.
Yeah.
Itself. Themselves.
Yeah, let's not genderize death.
Let's not assign death its own pronouns. It can assign its own. But anyway, I'm reading that book for this young adult literature class in college, and I was working at an ice cream shop that was in the train station in downtown Denver at the time, and so I would work these really crazy late hours because the ice cream shop was open late, and then I'd walk home to my building, and I had to read this book in a week for this class. And so I was walking at probably 12:30, 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm walking downtown Denver back to my building, and I'm reading as I'm walking. And also, it's just a really great fucking book. So
read
I'm
walking. Are you read walking or walk reading?
I'm read walking.
Nice.
Because it's like sleepwalking, but reading. The reading part comes first.
Small interruption.
Go.
I used to do it with my kids in Bahrain. I used to go read walk.
Read walk?
We'd walk around the track and read.
Would you trip and fall? Would the kids trip and fall?
No.
I kept almost tripping and falling.
Really?
But so here's what happened. I'm walking, I'm reading, I'm read walking. I'm fully immersed in this book because it's a fantastic book. And then I hear these drunk assholes behind me, and I'm like, and I'm trying to do the thing where I pretend like I can't hear them, and so I'm just reading my book. But at this point, my eyes are frozen on the page, and I'm not reading it.
A lot of women do that? Just pretend you don't hear them?
Oh, yeah.
Really?
Yeah, and a lot of the times I would walk around with headphones in, but without music playing, because then it's easier to pretend you can't hear what people are saying.
Another side story, but first you.
No, go for it, because you might forget.
No, I won't forget. Okay. I'm not that drunk.
Well, I just forget things even when I'm sober, so.
Yeah, you're right. But go ahead.
So I hear them, and I'm walking, and they're getting closer and closer to me, and then they're I don't even remember what they were saying exactly, but they were clearly drunk and just being assholes and just talking about me and my body and whatever, and just saying disgusting things. And I'm trying to walk faster, and walk in the well-lit areas. I'm almost home. I'm a couple blocks from home. and then I feel someone's hand on my shoulder.
What?
Yeah, one of them grabbed me.
What?
And so I turned
So they were
around.
in a car? They got out of the car?
No, they were walking.
Oh, they were walking.
They're also walking
Holy
behind me, but I
shit.
can hear theirs, and I didn't want to turn around and
That's
look
scary as fuck.
and give them attention. Yeah, right. So when one of them grabbed me, I freaked out, and this is the part you're gonna like. My first reaction was to just turn and sucker punch him in the face as hard as I could.
Did you?
I did.
Wow.
I did, and then I fucking bolted and I ran, and I'm like, I'm not usually a confrontational person, but
I
that
have
was my
goosebumps right now. You turned and punched him in the face?
I punched him in the face, and for a split second after I was like half a block away, because I punched and then I sprinted away.
Holy fuck, you're a girl of action.
Okay, but like, that's not that smart because there were like 5 of them.
Yeah, that'll piss them off.
Yeah.
Like,
so,
we'll teach her.
Luckily,
yeah, that's a
I
little
think
risky.
they were just drunk and stupid because as I turned away and I was running, I heard one of them, I heard the one I punched go, "Oh man, I think she broke my nose," and all and all the friends were like, "Oh, what the fuck, man? Why'd you do that?" Right? They were just drunk idiots.
Please tell me you sounded like that. Hey,
man. That's what he sounded like to me.
What a
That's
dickhead.
what he sounded like to me.
Who? Okay,
Don't
catcalling is
grab
fine.
people.
Catcalling,
No,
it's
not
good.
fine.
It's not good, but it's not like hand on shoulder. That's too far. That's way too far.
But the thing is that, like, even catcalling, it's like you get in that fight or flight response mode.
Some guys do it and they just drive off. And you're like, okay, dickhead,
Yeah,
nice
but
one.
as a woman, how are you supposed to know which one's going to drive off and
you're
which
right.
one's going to react if
You're
you don't
right. I'm
respond?
not a woman, so yeah, you're right.
It's
You're
like,
right.
you never know what, because, yeah, some of them are drunk assholes.
Yeah.
But some of them are dangerous, right? So,
Yes.
like, you don't know.
Ooh.
So I'm grateful that my first instinct somehow was to fucking sucker punch him in the nose and break it.
I've never sucker punched anyone.
No?
Ever. I wanted to. I've wanted to, but I love that was your reaction.
I do
Just
too.
fucking.
I do too.
But did your hand hurt afterwards?
A little. But it was like adrenaline, right? So I didn't feel
You got
like
him right in the nose, too.
I got him right in the nose. It was like
amazing.
a book thief in one hand, fucking fist with
Oh, man. Oh, man.
Yeah.
You just kicked his ass. And I was thinking,
like
at first I was thinking, that's not a great move because you'll piss them off and they'll want to get some kind of revenge,
is that
right?
could have been a really bad idea.
It could have been. But at the same time, I think if you fucking punch someone in the nose, they really rethink what they're doing. They do.
That's probably true.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, and if it had been, I think it was just 5 drunk dudes who weren't really trying to start any trouble, but were
that
just.
sounds dangerous.
But
though.
if it
5 drunk dudes.
if it was 5 drunk dudes who wanted to cause harm or didn't care about causing harm, I'd have been I wouldn't be here talking to you right now, probably, you know. But like, so anyway, things like that don't happen here.
Right.
Like there's a certain amount of respect.
Right.
Walking down the street, you know, I get people.
Taiwan's one of the safest places.
Oh my
in the
god,
world.
I can walk and like explore the alleyways and not ever have to worry about.
It's documented.
Anything.
It's documented.
Yeah.
Like it's one of the safest places in the world.
Yeah.
Like you see kids walking alone.
Yeah, and
Like,
in the middle.
the first
of
time I saw that, I was like, "What the? Where the?
Yeah.
Like, come."
But they're fine.
I guess.
They're fine.
But still, that's a little bit damn. But the thing I think Taiwan is very like it's congested as far as like people, right? And there's cameras everywhere, and there's always someone around.
Yeah.
Like there's no dark alleys. You're never on the street alone.
Well, even in the dark alleys, I've never felt like. At first, when I moved here, because I was just used to being afraid all the time, walking by myself.
Right.
But like now, I can walk around if I can't sleep, I can get up and walk around the dark alleys and just like explore and find some plants and some stray cats and not have to worry about.
Right.
You know, I can't tell you how many times I walked home drunk from dive bar just like by myself at 4 a.m.
Was that like a 30-minute walk?
Yeah, something like
30-minute walk.
And not from here, but from my old apartment. I could from here. It's like an hour, so I wouldn't.
Oh,
I would probably cab. But yeah, I would. That was the plan always was to walk and walk home, so I didn't drive drunk or have to pay for a cab or whatever. But never once felt unsafe. Never once felt like I had to be worried about anything. And the only times that I really have felt uncomfortable have been with drunk foreign guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Really?
Yes.
Wow. Have you ever been uncomfortable around me?
No.
Good. But
You're
I don't
not
want you to
driving.
name names. I don't want you to name names. But like people you knew or just some drunk foreign dudes?
People I vaguely know. No one that I'm like hang out with on the regular, but people I see out, and you know the foreign community here in Tainan is pretty small, so like you know most people.
Yeah, right.
But
Fuck, let's go back to Bangladesh. So you
Bangladesh.
Yeah, I was going to talk about Bangladesh. You said you wore headphones or earphones.
Yeah.
So just so people would think that you're busy and shit. I did that in Bangladesh. I did it in Bangladesh, and it was a solution to a huge problem because everybody in Bangladesh wanted to fucking talk to me. It was crazy. At first, I was like, "Oh, how sweet! Like these guys they just want to, everyone wants to take a selfie with you. Everyone wants to ask you like, they want to use their fucking 7 words in English that they know." And it was it. The first couple days, I was like, "Okay, I mean, I understand," but after that, I was like, "Fuck this!" Like, I resorted to like hiding. Like, I didn't want to go out. I would watch like BoJack Horseman in my fucking room by myself, and I was like, "I'm not fucking doing that. I'm not letting them win."
Yeah.
So I thought of this solution, big, and I have like big headphones, not just plug in your ears. Like it's obvious that I'm wearing headphones, right? And I would fucking put those things on and pretend that I'm on like a video conference call and start talking, and no one understands what I'm saying. So I would just say like shit to entertain myself. Like, if you're gonna put the carrot up your ass, you should probably at least wash it. But I mean, if you're gonna go if you want, shave the first layer off. And I would just walk really fast and say shit like that all the way to wherever I'm going. And people would stare at me, but they wouldn't fucking dare bother me. Because
Well,
I'm
yeah.
like, I'm in an
You're
obvious,
doing something.
important conference call about putting carrots in your butt, right?
Man, I feel like I should add that when I go back home, if I'm walking around and I feel uncomfortable.
Really important. Like a really important call.
But
Shouting.
I feel like if I'm
angry.
shouting about shoving carrots up people's asses, they'll ignore me even more.
Right.
Like, that's a great, even if
Yeah.
they do understand what
They're
I'm
like,
saying,
"What
that's
the
gonna.
fuck?" But
they're
no,
gonna just
you're like,
steer
"I
clear.
don't give a shit. Put it in your ass." Like you're like this.
Like I'm the CEO of Carrot Ass.
Yeah. It's like she's like, "Oh, dude, that chick's hard."
Wow. All right, I will add that to my list of things to do.
And I was really proud of myself that I came up with that, and it was fucking amazing.
You should know that half of the female population thought of it first.
Yeah. Okay. Well, hey, I'm the first guy that thought of it, so I'm proud. I'm proud.
It's a good idea.
No, I'm still proud.
Yeah,
I'm still very proud. Like, I'd never heard of it before, so it was my idea.
It's a good idea.
Yeah.
It is. Especially, I had never thought of the important conference call bit. That adds an extra layer.
In a business suit, right? You're like, "I told you. How many times?" Okay, seriously. I killed the last time that asked me that. I killed the last guy that asked me that question this many times. I swear to God, if you fucking ask me again, do not ask me again. I'm hanging up.
But then you got to get on another call right away, otherwise your facade is.
And then you talk about that call that you just had. Like, Jesus.
You would not believe
Jason
this
is
guy.
such a fucking moron. I swear to God, I'm going to slit his throat.
That'll do it. Okay, so now the theme of this episode is how to get people to leave you alone.
Right. Good. I like that. Yeah.
Perfect.
I like to be left alone. And don't come to Taiwan. Ever.
Is that your last bit of parting wisdom?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, you've given us a lot of really excellent content. So thank you, Dennis.
Thank you for having me here, and just fucking amazing. Like you had me out on the balcony. You gave me a face thing, and it's pretty cool, man. Like just hanging out with you is cool.
Yeah, you should hang out more. I need friends. They all moved away.
I need friends as well.
All right, let's be friends.
Cool.
So that concludes the 3rd episode of Saving Face. For our 12, 13 listeners, I'm hoping by now. That's by now
we're in our 20s.
Right.
We're in the 20s.
We're in the 20s.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
well, for those of you who have stuck with us to episode 3, if you have any questions that you want people to answer or anything that you want people to talk about, you can find us on Instagram at SavingFaceThePodcast, or you can send us an email at savingfacethepodcast@gmail.com. I'm Rosie. This was Dennis. Thank you, Dennis, for joining us today.
Thank you. This is a Rosie shirt, by the way.
Oh, yeah.
Rosie.
That was, I bought that shirt for a boy, and then the boy was mean, so I just kept it and didn't ever wear it, and then now you
So I'm wearing a mean boy shirt.
But it's better now. It looks better on you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I like it. It fits, and I like it. I like the colors.
Yeah. I think really I bought it for you, and I just didn't know it yet.
Yeah, maybe. Could be.
All right. Well, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you next time on Saving Face.
Bye.
Bye.
someone in the nose, they really rethink what they're doing.